Hello student, today topic is change of state. As you studied earlier regarding this melting, boiling, freezing and condensation, still we are revise that topic. So for that I just consider one ice. Suppose I just consider 10 gram ice whose initial temperature minus 10 degrees Celsius, and I simply supply the heat to that ice. You will observe that if you will put one thermometer here and note down the temperature of ice with the help of this thermometer, what you will observe? First you will supply the heat, temperature of the ice will increase. It will reaches from minus 10 to 0 degrees Celsius. So what happened at 0 degrees Celsius? We will concentrate there. When whole of the 10 gram ice will reach to at 0 degrees Celsius, what's there? Ice will convert into water, but temperature remains constant. You know this process is called melting. So very important, temperature should constant. Same way we are not stop the heat supply. That liquid temperature or water temperature start from 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. Firstly, temperature will increase from 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. What happened at 100 degrees Celsius? You will observe here temperature remains constant, but that water convert into gas or vapors. But temperature remains constant. This process is called boiling. We just want to get back this ice. So what we have to do? We will cool down that vapors and convert into water, but remains constant temperature. This process is called condensation. And that water, firstly temperature decrease 100 to 0 degrees Celsius. But at 0 degrees Celsius, what happened? That temperature remains constant. When you will keep that water in a freezer, temperature from 0 at 0 degrees Celsius, temperature remains constant, but water convert into ice. So this process is called freezing. In short, melting and freezing reverse to each other, and any substance melting point and freezing point remains same. For example, ice will melt at 0 degrees Celsius and water will freeze at 0 degrees Celsius. Same way, boiling and condensation, both are reversed to each other. If water boil at 100 degrees Celsius, obviously vapor will condense at 100 degrees Celsius. Next, if you will observe here, when there is change in temperature, suppose minus 10 to 0 degrees Celsius, molecules motion will increase, with that its kinetic energy increase. But during the state change, during melting, boiling, freezing and condensation, what's there? Space between the molecule will increase. With that their potential energy increase. Same way in boiling, that space between the molecules, intermolecular spaces will increase. Again there is increase in potential energy. So remember that during the state change, potential energy of the molecule will increase. Next is the factors affecting melting. There are two factors, one is pressure, other is impurities. But before explaining this pressure, I will categorize the substance into two categories. First, substance expand on heating generally, but still exceptions are there. Substance contracts on heating. Best example, water. Regarding substance expand on heating, melting point will directly proportional to the pressure, whereas those substance contract on heating, melting point will inversely proportional to the pressure. In short, pressure will decrease. If pressure will decrease, melting point increase, but we will apply the pressure on ice, what will be there? The melting point will decrease. So in short, ice melt at 0 degrees Celsius, but when we will apply the pressure on that ice, what will be there? That ice will melt below 0 degree Celsius. Next is impurities. Again, regarding this impurities, melting point inversely proportional. If ice will melt at 0 degrees Celsius, but if you will put some salt in that ice will melt below 0 degree Celsius. In this way, salt work as an impurity and it will decrease the melting point of ice. Next is factor affecting boiling. Again, two factors, same factor, pressure and impurities. As concerned to pressure, boiling point increase with increase in pressure. For example, you know that water will boil at 100 degrees Celsius generally, but in pressure cooker the same water will boil at 120 degrees Celsius, because in pressure cooker what's there? Firstly, water will boil at 100 degrees Celsius, convert into steam, but steam will not escape out from that pressure cooker. As a result, that trapped steam will apply the pressure on the remaining water and that remaining water will boil at 120 degree Celsius. So that's why it's easy to cook food in a pressure cooker. Next is impurities. Regarding these impurities, very simple. Simple water will boil at 100 degrees Celsius, but when you will put some salt, salty water will boil above 100 degrees Celsius. Next important topic, latent heat. Come back to this diagram. If you will see here, during this melting, boiling, we are not supplying to stop we didn't stop the supply of heat. But question arises, if we didn't stop the supply of heat, where is that heat gone? So that heat is considered as a latent heat, hidden heat. So that amount of heat required to change the state of a substance, that is called latent heat, represented by Q, and SI unit is remains joule, because heat energy unit is joule. Next is, if I will specify this latent heat with mass, that is called as specific latent heat. So as considered SI unit, that is joule per. As there are two different state change, one is melting, other is boiling. So there are two different type of specific latent heat. One is latent heat of fusion, other is latent heat of vaporization. So very simple, there's amount of heat required to change the solid to liquid at constant temperature, that is called specific latent heat. And same way, that amount of heat required to change the unit mass of liquid into gas, that is called specific latent heat of vaporization. So we are simply discussing regarding the ice. So if you will observe here, latent heat of fusion of ice is 336 joule per gram in CGS unit, whereas SI unit 336 into 10⁻³ joule per kg. As concerned to steam latent heat of vaporization is 2268 into 10⁻³ joule per kg. Now I will explain some consequences of high specific latent heat of fusion of ice. Try to understand. So I told you what is the value of specific latent heat of fusion of ice, that is 336 joule per gram, and 336 into 10⁻³ joule per kg. What does it means? It means if you want to melt 1 kg ice, how much heat is required? 336,000. This is an enormous amount of heat. So there are some natural consequences of this. First is snow melting. So snow on the mountains will not melt as quickly. Reason is very simple, because to melt the snow we are required enormous amount of heat. Next is same question, same reason for the lake and ponds will not freeze all at once in the polar region or the cold countries. Reason is same, because ice will or water will require enormous amount of heat to liberate, convert into ice. Third is, suppose you are required coke, 10 gram coke. Initial temperature suppose is 20 degrees Celsius. In 2 glass you will take the coke, initial temperature 20 degrees Celsius, amount is same, and you are given two options. One is 5 gram ice, other is 5 gram water, but both at 0 degrees Celsius. So who will give the more cooling effect? If you will put here 0 degrees Celsius ice, if you will put here 0 degrees Celsius water, who will give the more cooling effect? Obviously ice. Reason, if you will see here, suppose I just consider at 0 degrees Celsius. Firstly ice will melt, then suppose its mixer temperature, suppose 5 degrees Celsius. Ice melt, then goes to 5 degrees Celsius, but water already here, it only increases temperature up to 5 degrees Celsius. Means ice will take additional heat. How much? 336 joule per gram. So this ice will take additional heat from the coke, and ice will give more cooling effect. Next is one more example. In case of snowfall, we will not realize too much coolness during the snowfall as compared to after the snowfall. Actually, what happened after the snowfall? What will be there? Ice has to melt. So for melting, it requires the heat. How much heat? 336 joule per gram or 336 joule into 10 raised to power 3 joule per kg. So that enormous amount of heat snow will take from the surrounding. So surrounding will become more cooler after the melting of snow. So these are some consequences of high specific latent heat of ice. Next is heating curve. Try to understand the heating curve. Recently I have given the example. I just took ice at -10, convert into steam, suppose that is at 120 degrees Celsius. So I will show you it on the graph. See here how. I will take time on this side, temperature on this side. Ice at -10 degrees Celsius, convert into 120 degrees Celsius steam. So in between there will be two stoppage, at 0, other at 100. You know well, at 0 degrees Celsius ice will melt, at 100 degrees Celsius water will boil. So we will see firstly ice temperature will increase, -10 to 0. At 0 melting will start, but temperature remains constant, time will not stationary. After 0 temperature increase up to 100 degrees Celsius. At 100 degrees Celsius water will boil. Then it will reaches to 120 degrees Celsius. So here is ice. What happened here? Melting. Here water. Here what happened? State change, boiling, and here vapors. So this is the heating curve, show how ice will convert into -10 to 120 degrees Celsius. Be careful during the state change, temperature remains constant. Next is cooling curve, reverse of this. Cooling curve. So in this we just want to convert 120 degrees Celsius vapors into ice. We want to convert 120 degrees Celsius vapors into -10 degrees Celsius ice. So what happened? Firstly, at 120 degrees Celsius, vapors will cool down up to 100 degrees Celsius. After that, what will be there? Condensation. Condensation will be there. Means vapors will condense, convert into water. At 100 degrees Celsius, when whole of the vapors convert into water, then temperature again decrease, heat liberate and reaches to 0 degrees Celsius. At 0 degrees Celsius, what will be there? Water freeze, convert into ice. When whole of the water convert into ice, then temperature again decrease at -10 degrees Celsius. So this is the cooling curve. Learn that or remember that during condensation and freezing heat is liberated, and during melting and boiling heat is absorbed. So this is all about your cooling curve. So important thing one more is there, but during the state change, how you will find out the value of Q. During the temperature change, how you can find out the value of Q. Remember that in previous topic we will find out amount of heat required to change in temperature. Formula is mc delta T. But during state change we are not considering this delta T because temperature remains constant. For that we will take the help of the specific latent heat. So here we will find out Q is equal to, with the formula ml. I will derive this formula from here. L is equal to Q upon M. Q is equal to ml. So here also ml differences. Here will be LL. Here will be LV. But during this we will consider MC delta T. This is the general things I am explaining here, but don't show in the heating curve and cooling curve. This is all about this topic. Hope you easily understand it. Thank you.